Amid racial tensions at the University of Missouri, which have now led the school president to resign today, things are also heating up at Yale University. It all started when a school committee sent an email to students before Halloween asking them not to wear any culturally unaware and insensitive costumes that might offend minorities. A faculty member responded with an email encouraging students to dress however they want. She wrote, quote, "Is there no room anymore for a child or young person to be a little bit obnoxious, a little bit inappropriate, or provocative, or yes, offensive? American universities were once a safe space not only for maturation, but also for a certain regressive or even transgressive experience. Increasingly, it seems, they have become places of censure and prohibition." That email got some students very upset, and it led to a confrontation on campus with her husband, who also works at the university. Watch.
It is not about creating an intellectual space. It is not. Do you understand that? It's about creating a home here. You are not doing that.
You're supposed to be our advocate.
These freshmen come here, they think this is what Yale is? Do you hear that? They're going to leave. They're going to transfer because you are a poor steward of the community. You should not sleep at night. We're out. You're disgusting.
Is anyone studying? I mean, I'm just wondering, Judge, because this is the second story we're covering. Yale, of course, is a private university.
Right.
Free speech, though? I thought that still applied. Does it here?
I have to tell you, I agree entirely with that, Professor. Free speech should reign on campus. There is no right not to be offended. I'll say that again. There is no right not to be offended. Even though this is private property, the First Amendment does not regulate private property. It only regulates the government. The people that run Yale have decided that freedom of speech shall reign, and it should. If you don't like the costume, wear a contrary costume. Clothing and costumes are expression. The remedy for tasteless expression is more expression. It's not suppressing ideas.
Right. I mean, so, Stacey, the future 1% of America are deciding that they are victims of something we like to call Halloween.
They're trying
and they
to
feel
regulate
unsafe.
feelings protection, right? That is just the most subjective thing, feelings. How can you do that? You cannot. So, and to try to tell people they can't say what they want, dress how they want because it's offensive, well, guess what? Your offensiveness offends me. I want to be able to do what my God-given rights are, and that is wear what I want, say what I want, do what I want within the law. Okay? That is what I want. So this is very dangerous. This is totalitarianism.
May I yield my time back to the judge with a question?
By all means.
Thank you.
I could get used to this.
What is not protected in this environment of Halloween costumes on the Yale University?
Fighting words would not be protected. A threat where the person had the present apparent ability to carry out the threat. A threat of violence would not be protected. But the mere wearing of a costume or the articulation of even hateful words is protected speech.
All right, not to go too deep, but what if this person's wearing a white sheet or a hood? All right? It's a question.
As hateful as that is to everybody on this table, and probably to everybody watching us now,
still the right.
It's
protected speech, yes.
I understand.
Very quickly, Julie, before I get you in, I want to ask you something, Judge, because in the block we did on Mizzou, we didn't mention that the protesters were demanding that the university president say that he was a part of white male privilege, and he refused. So it's almost like we have free speech being debated here, and then we have almost forced speech at Mizzou, pushing him to say something. Whatever happened to the First Amendment?
Guess what? The flip side of the First Amendment, Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech, is the government shall not force speech. It cannot force you to speak. You have the right to remain silent.
Julie, what do you think of this case? I mean, it's
absurd. It's absurd. I agree with everything the judge said, everything you just said, Stacey. We have the right to be as offensive as we want to be. And by the way, I may not agree with what you say, but what's that phrase? I'll defend your right to say it. There's no doubt in my mind that if these kids want to dress up and offend somebody, and by the way, Stacey, you're so right, it is subjective as to whether something is offensive or not. But let's say it's something as universally offensive as a white sheet.
That's why I chose that.
As you said, it is universally offensive. Would I be horrified to see it? Yes. Do I reluctantly have to say you have the right to wear that white sheet as a costume? I do, as much as it is despicable and loathsome to me. And these kids at Yale need to understand, you guys go to college, to learn and to expand your mind. Not this consolidation of thought, this group thing at college.
It's a suppression of ideas and speech.
We talk about it all the time. It is repugnant to me. I don't want my kid in 20 years going to school or any school that foists this kind of groupthink upon me or upon him or upon anybody else.
You're paying a lot of money to have speech suppressed.
Yes.
All right.